Matt Walsh posted for the first time after a week. I believe he got demonetized for all the very obnoxious and hateful rhetoric that he's been posting. I have no problem with disagreements. You know, I know that there's a lot of people who aren't trans affirming, and you're obviously incorrect. You're just a silly goose. But there's a phenomenal level of performative disrespect from Matt Walsh, and it's performative. He doesn't really care. He just loves to virtue signal and rile up his audience and be really hateful and toxic, and it's just not nice. You know, it's just not nice. But he finally posted again, and I think this is his response to him. What he calls is my response to those who are out to get me. Wow, there are people out to get me too, guys. The guys from the Peapod delivery service, they're out to get my groceries and bring it here. They don't even do that. It was just a weird joke I made up. Let's get this party started.
Well, I should have known that last week would be interesting. It began in an unusual way. On Sunday, I was leaving church with 3 of my kids.
Hey, God bless. 3 of your kids. How many kids do you have?
And as I was walking towards the car, I heard someone shout my name from behind me. And I get flagged down by fans on the way out of church pretty frequently, as you might expect. The church-going crowd is
Matthew Walsh,
my core demographic. So I didn't think it was anything out of the ordinary. And the guy ran up, shook my hand, started making friendly small talk. But then his tone changed suddenly. And he told me that actually he thinks that my work has a terrible impact on the world. He said that this church, the one we just came out of, is a place of love, not hate.
God bless him. What a nice guy. He sounds like he's somebody who was a fan of Matt Walsh, but just doesn't like the fundamental hate and disrespect. That's a true, I'm not even memeing at this point. That is a true, loving, God-fearing Christian. I'm not even kidding. This isn't a joke. Hey, why are you so hateful, Matt Walsh? That's what it sounds like. I like that guy.
Darky Sharky super chatted $5.
What are you doing?
What if Logan Paul came to your house, dropped his pants and said like what you see and then started singing Baby Got Back?
What do you want me to how do I want to say that, dude? Come on. That was incredible. So anyway, we stand this random religious individual. We stand the literal embodiment of Jesus Christ coming down from heaven itself to tell Matt Walsh that he's a little bit of a meaniehead. So,
and I'm not welcome there. Now, I responded in no uncertain terms that he can't speak to me that way in front of my children. And
what a tough guy.
He should be ashamed of himself. He turned around and walked hurriedly away, and that was the end of the conversation.
I just don't even think this whole conversation happened. I think that Matt Walsh made this up, and what's worse is that it doesn't make him look good. It makes him look like a silly goose. A guy walked up to him, was very nice to him, and then respectively said, you don't really belong here because you're a very mean person, and God is about spreading love. And then Matt's like, don't say that in front of my kids because, what a horrible thing to say, like you're just mean. And then the guy scurried away. I just don't believe this story. And it's also weird that Matt Walsh, I'm going to presume, made up this story and it still makes him look bad. He could have said anything. If it was me, I was walking outside of church and this random guy walked up to me and he said, you don't belong here, sir. So I whipped out my flute and I went, all of a sudden, the giant dragon Megazord came from the sky and crashed down. That's what I would have done. And I transformed into the Green Ranger. Turned out, he was Rita Repulsa telling me I don't belong at church and that I'm not a real God-fearing Christian. And we fought. All right? That's what I would have said. That's what I would have done. I would have made that story is more believable, frankly. That's more believable than Matt Walsh's story, if we're being real here. That I am literally the Green Ranger. Rest in peace, Tommy.
Now, I hoped that my kids that were standing there hadn't been paying attention maybe, and maybe didn't realize what the guy said to me. I was hoping perhaps it didn't register on them. But when we got to the car, my son started to cry. And he asked why that.
I'm so sorry. I don't mean to, because God bless him, that's his kid. Your kid cried because a guy said that you're really mean and you're not like embodying the love of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. And your kid cried because of that. God bless him, but he sounds like he's a very sensitive young man. Maybe he needs to grow up. I don't know. Maybe he's also 4. Maybe I'm assuming he's probably just a kid. But why would he wait till he gets to the car? I would just start crying right there. Stop it. Stop bullying my daddy.
That mean man said those things. And I explained to him that there are people in this world who don't like it when you speak the truth.
Yeah.
And when you try to do it.
Matt Walsh is one of those people.
That's right. Their hearts are shrouded in darkness, and they hate the light, just as the Bible says.
Okay.
I tried to act unfazed for the sake of my kids, but the truth is that I was extremely angry. I don't care what
Damn, I can't believe he tried to act unfazed, but we realized that it's really just phased Matt Walsh, and he's going to be joining the esports team.
you say about me or to me, but you've crossed the line when you make my boy cry. But it was an important
Bro, he didn't even say anything mean. Your boy's just sensitive. God bless him. Oh my God.
lesson for him to learn and for me to relearn in preparation for the week ahead.
Yeah.
So on Monday afternoon, I was informed that YouTube was demonetizing my channel.
Yeah.
This was the first step towards a possible permanent demonetization or banishment from the platform entirely.
Yeah.
YouTube keeps its rules intentionally vague. That's the way they play the game. They'll
Yeah, but you've been very antagonistic and divisive and hateful. Like Ben Shapiro says the similar things to Matt Walsh about trans people, but he just doesn't like cross a line. I don't like it either way, but when I watch Ben Shapiro, when I watch Matt Walsh, there's something so performatively personal about how much he pretends to hate trans people, because he doesn't really. I don't think he really cares. I think it's all just like, oh, I'm gonna rile up my audience. I think that his whole idea is like, I'm not as smart as Ben Shapiro, so I need to be more hateful. There has to be a reason to engage with Matt Walsh. So what can I say that's just provocative and hateful and intentionally antagonistic? That doesn't actually get through a message. It more just riles up my own audience that already exists into like it's hateful rhetoric. That's what's happening. But there's something so personal about everything he talks about. Ben Shapiro is just going on like, hey guys, don't Mulvaney. That's just a guy. And it doesn't feel personal. It's annoying because all conservatives talk about LGBTQ shit. They have no other platform except for that. That's it. That's the whole platform. There's literally nothing else. Nobody's talking about like poverty, homelessness, anything else. It's just LGBTQ bad. But there's something so hateful about Matt Walsh and the way that he talks. That's why you were demonetized. This didn't come out of left field. You've been riling up your audience.
They'll penalize you for violating their policies, and yet they won't explain exactly what their policies are.
I just did, pussy.
So the company gives itself the license to single anybody out for whatever reasons they decide.
Sure.
They accuse me of engaging in hateful conduct, which supposedly ran afoul of both their community guidelines and their ads guidelines.
Sure.
They already took the step of...
Well, I mean, specifically the ad guidelines, I mean, like... You know, if a business doesn't want to engage with, like, if McDonald's doesn't want to put a Burger King, or why would McDonald's put Burger King out? If McDonald's doesn't want to put a fucking McDouble ad on Matt Walsh telling trans people they shouldn't exist, I understand that, right? I mean, this is capitalism, baby. So money talks. They don't want it on there. YouTube wants to make sure they don't have another adpocalypse.
Deleting a number of my offending episodes, which are gone now from YouTube, which is something that, again, they did on their own. And now they're taking away our ads, which is a penalty of more than $100,000 per month.
Whoa. Wow.
Now, they provided us with just 3 examples of my infractions, and these aren't all of them, they said, but they told us about 3. And they wouldn't tell us why they were infractions, but they said that, they told us what 3 of them were, and they said all 3 of them had to do with Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah, figured. What a surprise! 3 of them had to do with trans people. I mean, all your videos are just about trans people, so no kidding.
And they all seem to involve the crime of quote unquote misgendering. So, for example, one of the violations occurred when I referred to Mulvaney as a quote guy. That was the reality is I'm just never going to believe this, because Ben Shapiro says the same stuff and he's not demonetized. It's not just because he misgenders people. YouTube is annoyingly and intentionally very vague, and it's very frustrating. I've been having some issues with YouTube. Like, I got banned last month for a week for nothing, for a video I hadn't even released yet that I reacted to, that everybody else reacted to, and they banned it in the drafts. And then after 5 days, they're like, oops, we messed up, and they reinstated it. Then I've been having an issue with a bunch of my videos getting demonetized, but when I put them up there, and then putting them in review, and then them getting, like, manual reviewed, said that they are not appropriate, and then I have to reach out to YouTube and say, like, why? It says that there's a curse word in the title, and there's none. They say, oops, sorry, and they reinstate it. And then I had another one, like yesterday, I had a video like that, and they said they reinstate it, and then it's still demonetized. So YouTube can be frustrating. Matt Walsh probably has something to do with, like, the current lockdowns on ads. But to be honest with you, it probably does have to do with Matt Walsh. Because that's what kind of happens when one person pokes the bear and everything gets a little sussy. It is what it is, I just gotta hunker down. But you see that, like, Ben Shapiro gets away with it. It's not just that. There's much more to the story, and you know that. You know that that's true. You're playing the victim here. You're playing the sussy baka. You guys ever
You guys ever hear that before? The sussy baka. So, just being real, man.
A violation. And what you should know is that we were not flagged by the algorithm. Okay, it's not one of those algorithmic glitches.
Okay.
And this does not appear to be some low-level decision at the company either.
No kidding. You have 3 million followers, or 2.3 million followers. Of course, you're going to be noticed.
Path 3 monetization is available. It seems that we can get back into YouTube's good graces.
Cool.
Get our monetization back by simply respecting preferred pronouns and refraining from offering any meaningful critiques of gender ideology. In other words,
and I'm not going to do that.
Super chatted $9.
I'm not going to do that. Thank you so much. Also, thank you for the medium gut for 5 months. I was subscribed on Twitch as well. I've been watching for like a year, maybe a little over. Thank you so much, so-called pro. Anyway, this is where Matt Walsh pretends to be a martyr and says, I'm not going to do that.
All I have to do to get all that back is forfeit my integrity.
I won't do that.
All of my deepest.
I won't do that.
That's it. Now, not to skip ahead, but I can tell you right now that my answer to that offer is not only no, but hell no.
Whoa, you can't say hell, bro. You're religious. Listen, you know what I'd say? I say, okay, this is how I would do it. Let's say I was a really transphobic, unintelligent, dumb piece of shit, right? Here, and I was constantly misgendering. It's more than that, but I was just I kept calling Dylan Mulvaney a guy, even though it is obviously Dylan is a girl. What I would say, instead of saying Dylan is a guy, I would say Dylan is what the society keeps telling us is a girl. That's the language I would use. I would just be like a little bit disingenuous about it, but I would still technically gender them correctly, right? Because I would understand that if I wanted to maintain myself, there's some rules you have to play by, and it's not selling out to use like more respectful language in this context, right? That's the whole Daily Wire point. Put stuff up on YouTube that's not really bad and direct them to Daily Wire where you can sit there and shout a bunch of slurs or whatever you want to do, you know? And, you know, that's how Ben does it. Yeah, that's what I would do. I mean, I'm not trying to be like, oh, that's what I would do. It would just be a little bit like a roundabout. I wouldn't play this game. I'm not going to do that because like you have no real argument. You're just being a silly goose.
The next day, shortly after I finished eating dinner with my family, I noticed that my Twitter account had been logged out on my computer.
Hacked.
And I tried to log back in, but the password didn't work, and that's when I knew that I was hacked. So I grabbed my phone to call my team about it, but my phone had stopped working at the precise moment when the Twitter hack happened, and that's when I knew the hack went far beyond Twitter.
Damn.
As we would soon find out, the hacker had pulled off a maneuver known as SIM swapping, and that's a thing where the targets, you know, the person who's being targeted, your phone number is transferred over to a SIM card that the hacker controls.
That's so weird. Interesting.
And once they have your number and your SIM card, they can access almost anything. And this hacker did. He got into my text messages, my DMs, my emails, everything. Leftists and trans activists
got into your porn.
Were giddy. They were cheering on the attack. They begged for my private messages to be released. They said that I deserved to be the victim of this federal crime.
Don't release my wife's titties. No.
At least one journalist openly solicited my stolen information.
Well, that's obviously wrong to do.
Put out his email address and asked for my stolen DMs and my stolen information to be sent to him, to be emailed to him. Yeah. The hacker then did an interview with this same journalist who works for the publication Wired. The hacker,
who is the person?
Apparently showed the journalist my tax documents, showed him some of my pictures, some of my old emails. The article directly quotes.
What do you think he's got? My first email was like something really weird. You think he's got something like that? Like, I love trans cock at fucking AOL.com. Because he does. You know that Matt loves yanking it. You know, he's like, rah. I know this is wrong. I shouldn't be doing this. This is a sin. That's what he's probably doing. You know,
it's one of my private emails, though it contained nothing salacious or even mildly interesting. In fact, it was a friendly exchange I had with Steven Crowder 10 years ago. And this made it into the...
Oh, yeah, friendly exchange. You know what I'm saying, dude. Two closeted young men. Not bad.
Wired article, for some reason. Facts and logic are precious rarities in this mad
Facts and logic. Buy my VPN. Oh, yeah. Birch Gold Group. Buy some gold. It's not going anywhere. Bury it in your backyard.
My future and yours. So text Walsh to 989898 today. The only interesting revelation in the article is that the hacker says that he had help in pulling off this hack from an unspecified quote-unquote insider.
Jesus.
And we have independently, as we've been tracking this down, we've independently found other evidence which also points in that direction of there was help from an insider.
Oh.
However exactly he did it and whoever helped him, and we will find all this out, I promise you.
Yeah.
It resulted in something much worse than the...
What is this thing up here? It looks like an adult toy over here. What is going on right there? This guy's got the this looks like a character from Persona 5, the mask. What is up with this background, dude? What a weirdo. You know, I don't got anything weird in my background.
Mere headache of somebody posting dumb tweets from my account. This was a total violation of our privacy, and if I'm being completely honest with you, it was one of the worst things that my family has ever experienced. I didn't sleep that night. I was up with our security team, our tech guys, lawyers, trying to put out a dozen fires all at once. Through the following day, we had people on the phone with Microsoft, Apple, Google, Twitter, my cell phone carrier, the FBI, local law enforcement, etc. It was a nightmare, even with all these resources available to me. The fact that we can just get on the phone with all these different companies and try to solve this problem, even with that, it's a nightmare. I can't imagine what this kind of attack is like for people who aren't so fortunate. You know, if you're stuck in a situation where all you can do is call 1-800 numbers, then that's going to make it all the worse.
True.
On Wednesday, with no sleep, I flew to the University of Iowa to deliver a speech in front of what turned out to be a massive sold-out crowd. A lot of energy in the room, which gave me enough of a boost to get through the event without passing out on stage or, descending into incoherent Joe Biden.
Why would you pass out?
Mumbles. Outside, there were throngs of protesters taking to the streets. They were stopping traffic. They were blocking the exits out of the event. They also dumped thousands of marbles in the hallway outside of the auditorium where the event was taking place in hopes of, making people slip and fall and causing serious injury to hundreds of people as they're walking out. Fortunately,
I saw a meme on TikTok about that, and it was kind of funny. And I don't know if this is verifiable, but somebody claimed that Matt Walsh once said, and he may not have said this, that like if you're sexually assaulted, like your body will naturally like get rid of it. You ever hear conservatives say that? Like you don't need an abortion because if your body doesn't want it and didn't want to have the sex, it'll get rid of it. And so somebody was like, don't worry, Matt, you can't fall if your body doesn't actually want to trip on the marbles. It was like, it's just so stupid. It made me laugh, though. I was like, okay, that's a little bit of silly goosery for you. It's a little bit of silly goosery.
Fortunately, that plan failed. So to summarize, it was a difficult week, but also fully in keeping with my experience over the past year or more, especially since my film, What is a Woman, came out. We have been doxxed.
I think that was the same thing. I have like a YouTube short that I'm going to post about it, but I think that was the same time where our silly goose, Matthew Walsh, got decimated by a fan, not a fan, by a regular old person. They like asked him, they were like, hey, religion isn't factual, so why do you make fun of trans people for not being factual when religion is constantly invoking faith and not God? I actually have the clip here. I'm not going to play it because I just don't feel like,
in fact, there is
I guess I could.
It's
on my TikTok. I just posted it.
To live in the truth with a deep recognition of truth. And that
we've never seen anybody walk on water, but there are there's so many stories of people who have been changed by by God. They've seen the light of God. And so we sort of turn a blind eye to science, right?
Okay.
We're gonna
need science because it's for our benefit.
We're gonna let someone else ask a few questions.
Yeah, so Matt got
But I'm kind of scared of the answer.
At the end of the day, he couldn't respond to that. Because that's the truth, man. And again, I keep saying I love God. But how can you have faith in a God that you can't prove is real, but then you can't have faith that people like have these legitimate gender identity experiences? You know what I mean? Like just from a spiritual level, you should be like, I get it, kinda. You don't even have to get it. You'd be like, okay, because it's all faith based, right? But there's a little bit more proof that trans people exist than there is that God exists. So let's just be real, And if you say God exists in your heart, well, so do trans people's gender identity. Okay, we don't even have to be intelligent about these anymore. Like honestly, we always go through this like, well, trans people are valid because there's an issue here and there's an incongruence here and we don't have to do that because the people contesting it are religious. So when they say like trans people aren't real, be like, well, who's that up there, bro? How do you know he's up there? We went to the moon. We didn't see that. We didn't see him over. We didn't see God. He's fucking not there, dude. So all we have to say is like, okay, if trans people aren't real, then God's not real because there's just as much evidence. Well, there's less for God, frankly, but but it's something we feel. It's an intense feeling that we experience inside of us. That's my gender is my gender. Unironically, what if it is almost like a gender? What if like this deep feeling in religion and like this deep like connection with God is just some kind of internal identity? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm transgender. Oh, I'm fucking God fearing. You know, like what if my actual pronouns were just like God fearing? I'm not even making a meme. I'm not Roseanne up on like some like dumb fucking conservative comedy tour. I'm just saying, like, what if it's a similar experience? What if we all have this deep desire for some kind of recognition and something that feels greater than ourselves, or something that feeling has manifested in religion, and now that religion is kind of going away? For some people it's manifesting as like a gender identity. It's like, I feel valid with this feeling. It makes me feel better about myself to align. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? Like, things are so bizarre. Like, everything's so abstract. Like, where people are so weird. You know what I mean? It's I don't get a little woke, but like, what if there's just this deep like a hole in a lot of people's bodies? It's like, I feel empty and I don't know what to fill it with. And there's been so many people over the course of history that fill it with God or Allah or Odin or whatever. And now some people are filling it with something. You know what I mean? Like, it's just an interesting thing to think about. Like, what, you know, I'm just saying, like, what if we all have this hole in us and we just fill it with a big God cock, you know? I'm just saying, it's something to think about. I'm not saying I'm correct. I'm saying that, like, you know, I'm really overtired and this feels like a really like mind-blowing moment, but it probably isn't. I'll probably like go to sleep and wake up and go like, wow, what a silly goose last night. But like, what if, you know? What if? I don't know.
Threatened, stalked, harassed, almost constantly. The threats became severe and frequent enough shortly after the film came out to necessitate 24-hour armed security in our home.
Damn, that's great.
Last night there was a Reddit post which went viral from somebody calling me a homophobic Nazi and saying that I should be murdered.
What was it, the Tabernacle? Well, that part is over. You should not be. That's horrible. But the first part, homophobic Nazi, maybe. I don't know. Definitely homophobic. I don't know about not. We throw Nazi around all the time. But then again, if it was acceptable to not like LGBTQ people in a way where you could actually hurt them and restrict their rights, I think that Matt Walsh would do that, frankly.
The poster said that he's, quote, tired of me getting away with this. And when he says getting away with it, what he's talking about is that I'm getting away with expressing my beliefs openly. He's tired of that. And he said that there needs to be consequences, quote unquote. The consequences, he specifies, should involve me being bludgeoned to death with a baseball bat.
Well, that's terrible. I think YouTube demonetization is a better consequence. Freedom of speech, am I right? But not freedom of consequences. But nobody should be bludgeoned to death, obviously.
And the thing is that this is not the sentiment of just one random weirdo on Reddit.
Yeah.
In fact, somebody posted something similar to Twitter a few weeks ago saying that I should be tortured and killed, and it got tens of thousands of likes and thousands of supportive comments.
That's terrible. That should never happen. But like, what if they tortured him by making him watch gay porn? Like in Orange, like Clockwork Orange. He's just like, no. He's got his eyes wide open. He's like, no, stop it. But then he's got like a huge, but then his erection gets so big it blocks his eyes. So he's like, oh my God, he saves himself. You know, that would be fucking wild. You know what I mean? That'd be crazy.
There's a wide consensus on the left that I deserve to be killed. And they have made that point abundantly clear. But the good news is that we're not taking any of this lying down.
That's good.
I'm going to be working with law enforcement. I am working with law enforcement right now to ensure that the person who hacked into my phone and anybody who granted him access is punished to the full extent of the law. Yeah. We are going to sue everybody involved.
Okay, cool.
I can't say much more about it right now, except that many different wheels are currently in motion. And if the people who did this aren't nervous right now, they should be.
Well, I'm okay because I didn't do it. I'm not nervous.
On the YouTube front, as long as they make affirmation of gender ideology a prerequisite for posting my show on the platform, I will not post my show on the platform.
Oh, okay.
But I also...
Oh, no. Okay. Like, it's not hurting anybody but yourself. If they make me have to use the correct pronouns, I'm not going to post my show. That doesn't hurt any of us. Like, that's like, okay. I mean, I guess I have less content to do. I don't care. That's like just you hurting yourself. This is a silly ego trip. You're not selling out by being more affirming. Again, you could be like Dylan Mulvaney, which society tells us is a woman, right? That's like a really disingenuous way to call them a woman. Obviously, Dylan is a valid trans woman. and a woman, but you could just say it like that, and you get your message out there. You could say the same stuff, and you get it to like if your goal is to spread your ideas, you'll just chill the fuck out, and you'll get your shit together, and you'll take the L, you'll swallow your pride, and you'll post more, and you'll like focus on from your perspective, the greater narrative, right? But instead, you're gonna be like, "Well, I'm just not gonna post on YouTube." okay. I'm like, okay, oh no, like, oh, not your garbage takes. So where the fuck? How are we gonna see her? What am I gonna do now? What am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to jump into my garbage can. I'm gonna have to go to my local deli and jump into the dumpster if I want more Matt Walsh takes. Like, if I want to simulate the experience of listening to Matt Walsh, I'm gonna have to go jump into a fucking busy dumpster. You know, like what do you that doesn't hurt any of us. It's just funny to me. Like, it's like you're just your ego is getting in the way of yourself, and you're just hurting yourself. It's just silly goosery.
Will not allow myself to be banished into obscurity off to some internet ghetto where nobody will find my content.
Was that racist, Matt? Relax.
See, big tech, this is the choice they want us to make.
Big tech
want me either to surrender my principles or become irrelevant. And they'll be happy with whichever of those two options I choose. Okay. Either one, fine with them.
Sure.
Which is why I choose neither. Instead, starting today, we're going to make this show available to everyone for free on the Daily Wire. It'll also be available on Rumble, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the other places you normally get your podcasts. Okay. And we're trying something new as well. Starting today, every episode of the show will also be posted in full on Twitter, which is now the most powerful free speech platform in the world.
How do you make money then?
And it seems like the place where the show belongs. If you follow our channel on YouTube, you can.
And maybe I'm missing something, but it sounds like Matt just said that, hey, we got demonetized on YouTube, which is costing us $100,000 a month. So what I'm going to do is make my entire show free. That feels like a disproportionate response. I understand the Rumble and stuff. Like, that makes sense to me. I get that and all that. Like, other platforms, that makes sense. Like, keep YouTube competitive. I like YouTube, but there are flaws, and if it becomes a monopoly, it could become a problem. But like, it sounds like what he's saying is that he's losing money, so he's just gonna double down and lose more money. Maybe I just don't understand. Maybe Ben is like, it's a good idea, Matt. We'll give you a percentage of whatever you pull in here because it's going to be free and people are going to want to subscribe because they look at Matt Walsh content. You know, maybe they're just using Matt Walsh as a way to get people into Daily Wire now. But I don't know. Ads? Do you get ads though? Like, are there ads on the Daily Wire website for free? Maybe you're right about that. Are there ads on Twitter? Are there? Because then I'll make a Twitter. I'll start posting Papa Gov videos on Twitter. Not even kidding. If there's actually ads on there that I could post, I'll do that. I'll post every one of my videos on Twitter. So
you can still find plenty of content that we'll make specially for you. We'll still post clips from the show so we can reach new audiences with our message. But we're not going to give YouTube our full show so long as the situation remains as it is.
I just fucking spilled all over myself.
I'm sure you can go to Brazil or Colombia and
there's 2 ads in a video, Matt. Oh my goodness. I wonder why you're doing that.
Get crazy things done to your face. But why on earth would you do that? If you're tired of dealing with puffy eye bags, dry skin, and wrinkles, then it's time to start
taking your skincare routine seriously.
Check out my friends at Genucell Skincare. Just in time for their Mother's Day special, Genucell is offering 70%.
All right, relax, dude. What are you doing? What is this like? Is there going to be a third ad in here? Genucell.
/Walsh. That's genucell.com/Walsh. The point is that we're not going to capitulate, but we also aren't going to scale down and become obsolete.
What's that word mean?
Instead, we're going to be bigger. We're going to be more innovative. We're going to reach more people in more ways on more platforms. That's our response. And this is just the beginning. I'll have more to announce soon. Also, we've been
cease to resist an opponent.
Talking with Congress. YouTube shouldn't be allowed legally to hold its users to standards of conduct that it refuses to properly explain. It's not.
I guess. Sure. Hopefully they explain it better. I guess I agree with this.
This is what people need to understand. It's not just that they target conservative voices, which they do, and that's bad enough on its own.
You're right. Yes, you're right, guys. Conservatives are nowhere to be found on YouTube and Twitter or anywhere. They're nowhere on YouTube. I haven't seen a single conservative. Some of the most popular people on YouTube are conservatives. I swear to God. What are you talking about?
but that they do it in this incredibly underhanded way with intentionally ambiguous rules that are enforced unevenly according to their opaque policies that they often seem to be making up as they go along.
Uh-oh, guys, I'm a victim.
The only way this changes
victim
is if
complex.
the people running YouTube experience a sudden and mysterious bout of integrity, or if the law forces it to change.
Law.
And I'm not betting on the former, so instead I'll fight for the latter, and I will take the fight all the way to Capitol Hill.
SVU.
Now, there is a point at the end of this whole saga. The point is that, one of the most important points anyway, is that the term culture war is no mere metaphor. It's certainly not anymore. We are up against people who have no interest in debates, no interest in discussion. If you oppose them, they will not...
I mean, I'll have a discussion with you, man. My only condition is that it has to be posted live, because I know that you'll cut things out when you get dumpstered. But yeah, people are totally open to discussion. What are you talking about all the time? The problem is the only discussion you want to have is going to high school, or excuse me, college campuses where a bunch of young kids are there that don't have like any talking points that are ready to go. Like, that's really all it is. And then you sit there and you try to steamroll people by trying to be like, what is a woman? And even though you get a satisfactory answer constantly, you pretend like you don't. You see, nobody can give me the answer. A woman is somebody who genuinely identifies as a woman and genuinely expresses themselves as a woman to the society based on that society's socially constructed idea of what a woman is. Right? Different societies, you know, in some countries you gotta wear the old mask or rooney and the dress or whatever it's called, the hijab, is that right? Other countries are different. And you might be like, oh, that's circular. Okay, let me ask you this question. Where do you think that Blair White should go potty? The girl or boys' room? That's my only question. And if you say that Blair White should go potty in the boys' room, then frankly, I'm just uncomfortable because this is a woman. But if you say that they should go in the girls' room, then you obviously acknowledge that penis, vagina, or ovaries are not the only thing that create or dictate what a woman is. If you agree, which all of us should, that this person belongs in the woman's restroom, then obviously a woman isn't as simple as somebody with ovaries. It's obviously a little more complicated. That's it. We don't have to get complicated with this. We can just go by example. And Matt might say, like, no, that's a man. Well, okay, well, I think that you know, burn that bridge with Blair White. Be my guest. That's just a funny thing to happen. But realistically speaking, you can't. That's what it comes down to. You know, like imagine, like, or you can go at like Buck Angel. Like, which potty room do you think that this person? Let me make sure it's not porn. What potty room do you think this person should go into? I wouldn't want this guy in a bathroom with girls. So if you say, oh, they belong in the bathroom with boys like everyone else does, clearly penis and balls it's not that simple when it comes to being a man. We just have to go through specific examples to, you know what I mean? And people are like, that's a good point, Papa. It's obviously a little more complicated. Good thing we're human beings that don't just fucking like hang around in trees and eat fucking bamboo all day, and we have a little bit more intelligence here. That's all it comes down to. But you're just a silly goose, and like basic arguments are gonna make you feel like a silly goose. That's all it boils down to. You're just confidently wrong constantly. It's all it really boils down to. Oh my God, we're getting the speech again. Good. This is the speech you get every single time. We're gonna go through it every time, bro. I don't give a fuck.
Engage with your arguments. They will simply try to silence you and ruin you. There will be no rebuttals, except for the ones that they issue in the form of censorship, death threats, and worse.
And come.
The more that they perceive that you are a threat, the more that they will work to destroy you and everyone associated with you.
Bro, it's not that deep. YouTube just wants to make money, and you're hurting their bottom dollar because the way that you express yourself is like very intentionally antagonistic and hateful. It's this literally capitalism is hurting you. The fundamental irony that like a hard line, and I love capitalism. It obviously needs to be improved. You know, we need some kind of healthcare and whatnot. But like capitalism is your issue. It's nothing else but pure capitalism. They want to make money. You are hurting their bottom line, and they don't want to have their entire platform questioned for monetization again, like they did during the cuckening, whatever it was called. I don't remember what it was called. The great yellow dollar sign. What was it called? You understand what I'm saying?
That's the way it works. But this should not dissuade us. Okay, we shouldn't be discouraged by the viciousness of our opponents, but motivated by it. It couldn't possibly be more clear who is on the wrong side and who is on the right side.
Yeah, true.
This is about as black and white as a cultural divide can possibly get.
And by the way, guys, as Matt Walsh, did you know that black people are actually better off that we enslaved them? It's very black and white, and obviously the black is wrong because we did them a favor by fucking systemically enslaving them and then destroying Black Wall Street. Because everything led up till now, and don't you love being here? I mean, I just don't know. I don't know how, bro. We need Matt Walsh to stay here. We need our lol cow content. We need our conservative lol cow. We need him to say crazy shit. It's fucking wild shit. It's bonkers. Bonkers.
There is one side that hates the truth, rejects the truth in principle, and wishes total destruction on everyone who speaks it.
Whoa, who's that? Is that
all you have to do?
Is that the woke liberal mob?
Is choose the side
Liberals.
that is not that side.
Liberal mob.
May require courage to take
woke
that kind of stand.
Courage.
But at least you'll know where to stand.
The cowardly dog.
Not any confusion about this.
Starring courage.
As for my ongoing ordeal, or ordeals, I should say.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you all of it so that you would feel sorry for me.
Okay.
Pity is the last thing that I want.
I think you're just trying to martyr yourself, and it's just funny to watch at this point. Guys, I'm not going to change my rhetoric. Got a little Jordan Peterson. I'm not going to change my rhetoric. We're going to sit here. We're going to make everything free. I don't know. I worked out a deal with Ben Shapiro, and he said that I'll pay you more if we make all your stuff free as a way to try to get you onto our website. Kind of makes sense. Kind of smart. Ben's a smart guy.
I chose this line of work. I chose to be in this fight. I went into it with my eyes open. I knew what I was getting into. I may get hit with a curveball on occasion. I may be introduced to new concepts like SIM swapping, for example.
Okay.
But mostly...
Hey, what is... See, speaking of SIM swapping, have you guys ever heard of Wicked Whims? Because, oh boy, do I have something... Do I have a thing for you? Do not look up Wicked Whims. Talk about SIM swapping. Oh my God.
I'm getting exactly what I expected from the vicious, bloodthirsty rage mob and its leaders in big tech.
Bloodthirsty rage mob, big tech.
It has not dissuaded me.
I'm a martyr, guys.
I still will not.
I'm a fucking gladiator.
Or compromise at all.
I won't back down. I won't back down from an inch from attacking LGBTQ people. I'm at full mast, and I am not going to get soft on these LGBTQ people. I'm staying hard against the fight. I'm going to wave it around their face. I'm not going to back up, but I hope they back it up onto me.
I've told you many times that I would rather be dead than surrender to these people, and I meant it.
That's not good for your kids, bro. Relax.
So to all the people who are sending me death threats and posting my home address and hacking my accounts and trying to blackmail me and threaten me, giving away my personal information.
Well, like you said, Matt, it's a good thing that they're blackmailing you because you're better off. You're better off. Am I right, guys? You're just better off. Whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. You're better off.
Mass reporting me to get me deplatformed and all the rest of it. I want you to know that nothing you have done or will do or could do will ever make me shut up. It will never happen.
Okay.
None of your schemes have worked or can ever work. It is all futile. Your efforts are hopeless.
I agree.
The truth is the truth.
Yep.
And I will never pretend otherwise.
Yep.
I am not here to make a martyr of myself. I don't want any of the good guys.
You're literally doing that.
To be martyrs.
The truth is the truth, guys. Bless up, Jesus. Okay? It's a fact that God's real. I can't prove it, but the truth is the truth. I only and exclusively act on facts. Okay? That's all I do.
I want us to win.
Yeah.
And we will. That'll do it for this portion of shows. Move over to the members block. Hope to see you there. If not, talk to you tomorrow. Godspeed.
Godspeed, guys. Godspeed. God bless. Gotta love it. And you guys know what comes next. Wait, hold on. We gotta get with lyrics. Because it's hard to tell what they're saying, because it's kind of like mumble rap, you know? Here we go. I think this... Wait, it's just a little too long. I just want the short version of it. But we kind of got to get something... This is not bad. What do you think? Because we got to do it. Oh, this is performed by some silly goose. I just want the lyrics. I just want the 52-second version with the lyrics. Alright, we'll just listen to the regular one. We just have to settle. Wait, I'll look it up. Hold on. I gotta do this the right way. Hosanna in the highest. Lyrics. Oh, this is a very long thing. Let's just go. Holy, holy Lord. Heaven and earth is full of your glory. Hosanna in the highest. Oh, fuck! Comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest. Hosanna in the highest. Peace be with you, and also with you.